country, government is set to commence an enhanced vegetation and reclamation project in response to Ghana's catastrophic destruction of vegetation cover by illegal gold mining activities. Joy News in a Hotline documentary produced by Erastus Asare Donko highlighted how aquatic life and forest reserves are being destroyed in search for gold. Here are excerpts.
Mining can create jobs, mining can improve livelihoods, and mining can generate wealth. But it cannot and must not do so at the expense of damaging the very environment that produces the riches.
Nobody provides a license for you to mine in a water body. It doesn't happen in Ghana.
When I see these things, I ask myself, who are behind this? I can't buy excavator, but the ministers and the MPs, you can do that. So we are saying, I
am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter.
When you send soldiers after the young people, that is not the way to go.
Destruction for gold.
The U.S. Geological Survey gold statistics for 2022 pegs the world's global gold reserves at 54,000 tons. Ghana's reserves, estimated at 1,000 tons, has been the country's good and bad omen in the past 15 years. The large-scale exploitation of Ghana's gold has been fairly controlled. But the small-scale or artisanal mining sector has been the country's environmental headache. Highly unregulated, it is home to greed, politics, power play, and a policy dilemma. Artisanal and small-scale has a long history in Ghana. But it was only in 1989 that government recognized its legitimacy through the Small Scale Mining Act, PNDC Law 218, which was later integrated into the current Mining Act 703 in 2006. The act provided a blueprint for its formalization, reserving small-scale mining for Ghanaians. Like a farmer with arable land but no plow, the country started witnessing the invasion of Chinese into the sector, largely aided by Ghanaians. With the introduction of heavy earth-moving equipment and water-polluting gold mining technologies, the country's forests and water bodies came under attack. Regime after regime saw the pillaging of forests and the pollution of water bodies. Large tracts of forest cover, like this one in the western region, were reduced to wasteland. Contrary to mining practices and regulations, miners hid behind prospecting licenses to destroy large portions of forest reserves like the Apamprama in the Ashanti region. Between 2006 and 2016, the devastation from illegal mining had taken astronomical levels across the country with extreme environmental consequences.
Our usual footpath to school and out of our homes has now been turned into pits. I've been injured today trying to find my way home. They have to drive the Galamsey people away.
In 2013, President John Dramani Mahama inaugurated a 5-member task force to fight illegal small-scale mining across the country. The problem persisted, leading to a government ban by the Akufo-Addo administration on all artisanal small-scale mining activities across the country between March 29, 2017 and April 22, 2017. This was followed by a 6-month ban on legal small-scale mining.
I've said it in the cabinet, and perhaps this is the first time I'll be saying it in public. I am prepared to put my presidency on the line on this matter.
A military and police task force codenamed Operation Vanguard was formed mid-2017 to enforce the ban and eliminate illegal mining. Later, an interministerial task force called Galamstop was roped in to assist and remove seized excavators from the field. But even in the midst of the ban, miners like this one were actively mining in areas like the Kobro section of the Apamprama Forest Reserve. In the Tabosere Forest Enclave in the western region, miners pillaged the forest, claiming that they received concessions from the Minerals Commission.
This site was allocated to me by the Minerals Commission. They made allocations at a small-scale level. For miners like us, they don't give any certification.
Though the task force made a lot of gains, a number of excavators transported to Accra by the interministerial task force under Professor Frimpong Boateng could not be traced. This medical doctor who purchased and hired excavators for hiring lost a number of them.
They were seized by the interministerial task force. So I came to Accra to find out if the machines were really here. So when I came upon my search, I found out that 2 were at the industrial area. So I went back to prepare myself and come for them, follow the procedure and come for them. So when I got back, I decided to check on them again. I found out that one of them was not around, was missing.
Perhaps the account of this low-loader truck driver hired to move some of the excavators gives an inkling of what happened to the missing excavators. I had already asked the Alaji who sent me, and he had confirmed that it was one of the Galamstop machines that were being sold, and he was asked to transport it. So from Konongo to Bumfa Junction is a short distance, so I decided to help a friend in need. When I reached Bumfa Junction, he had told me a group of boys will receive the machine. Truly, I met them and they received the machine. Soon as they took the machine, a Land Cruiser vehicle came to the scene and took the money.
Well, excepts of destruction for gold by Erastus Asari Donko. But following these revelations, government was, questioned on how it intends to repair the damages in the face of setbacks on putting a complete halt on activities of illegal miners. Well, I caught up earlier today with Dr. John Kruger, who's the National Coordinator for the Ghana Landscape Restoration and Small-Scale Industry, who revealed to me plans to restore 5,000 hectares of land in a period of 2 years.
The president was right. The minister, the Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, the Honorable Samuel Abu-Jinapo, has been very clear on that. There are still challenges, and almost every country that is blessed with natural resources will have to grapple with that. I mean, the reason is very simple. If you look at gold, look at all the other minerals. You dig a hole behind your backyard, you fetch something. I tell you what happened when I went home to my village, and my village house happened to be sitting on gold. So my senior brother, who is doesn't have any knowledge in gold or is not even into galamsey, but because they are digging in the backyard, he went there, and they were doing and throwing the tailings away, and he was fetching that one. Then he took it to where they are grinding and things. Then in the process, they told him that he has 1,000 Ghana cedis. Whoa. He was like, this is impossible. I mean, what did I do? I just went fetching what they were throwing away. Right. What is the meaning of this? And that is the power of natural resources, mineral resources. And so in a world where, because of global geopolitics, we found ourselves going through economic difficulties, and this is not limited to Ghana. I mean, you would realize that the same issues we are dealing with, we say Galamsey, they say Zamazama, these people say prospectors. We all have to grapple with that. And the real question is, what is government doing, to deal with it? I think that is the most important question.
Right.
And besides what you see every day, and you media people, if it is not bleeding, it's not news. So what you know is when an excavator is being bent, or then you say that government is fighting illegal mining. But a project like this one, the Ghana Landscape Restoration and Small-Scale Mining Project, supported by the World Bank, is working closely on another arm of what you media people may not see, and that is institutional strengthening, legal and policy framework, asking the bigger question, why is Galamsey continue to be a problem?
Right.
Taking all the lessons of fighting Galamsey in the past, which is one of the reasons why the call to ban small-scale mining has not been heeded to by government, because the current government is not in the business of just repeating what has been shown not to work. We banned mining before when His Excellency Nana Addo took over office. Small-scale mining was banned for 1 year. From March 2017 till December 2018, it was banned. We are where we are. We're still talking about it. So if somebody is calling for another ban without looking into the data, without looking into the dynamics, and finding a more sustainable solution to the problem, we will ban it and then we'll come back to it.
Okay, so since you're partnering the World Bank on this journey, I'm sure that you've made some reflections over the years.
Yes.
What was the biggest challenge identified, and how are you working differently now just to tackle that problem?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is that there is no easy alternative to gold mining. So, because in the past, what has always happened is an attempt to put in place an alternative with the hope that the people in the Galamsey business will stop what they are doing and go. Again, let me cite my own village house. There's a small boy who's in primary school. I went home and he said that, he found a stone at the backyard and he got 900 Ghana cedis. He's in primary 3. He got 900 Ghana cedis. I just remember my time as somebody in primary 3, whether I could even get access to 50 pesos to call it my own. And this boy had 900 Ghana cedis. So the biggest challenge is there is no an easy alternative. And that is the reason why government has taken the approach that just taking the cane and going around and beating people that they should stop will not work, because there's no easy alternative. And one of the key policy intervention is the community mining scheme. The reason why it is called a community mining scheme is because government wants communities to own the process. Okay, so what you are doing is illegal. How about if we can find a way of making it legal and you stop doing it illegally? Because it is not just the fact that you don't have licenses that makes it illegal. You can even have licenses, but the way you are going about doing it is illegal. You are not doing it according to what the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, has instructed you to do. You are not doing it according to what the Minerals Commission has provided the protocol and guidelines on how to do it. Anytime you are out of this, you are illegal. So it's not just the question of you don't have a license. And so government says, that, okay, how about if we can make it legal? We're not taking it away from you. We're not telling you, driving you away, because that is where your livelihood depends on. But how about shifting you from being illegal to being legal? And that is one of the reasons why this project, one of the key interventions, is to conduct geological investigation, to provide mineable lands. Don't forget that one of the reasons why you see all the dark out areas going around is because, and that is why I like what the Australians call it, prospectors, because they are doing prospecting. And when you are doing prospecting, there is a chance that you just go digging, looking for the mineral. If you don't find it, you do not have any motivation to protect that land,
They just
to
leave that and
reclaim
go.
it.
They just leave the land.
Because you have spent some energy in digging, and maybe you spend some resources. You got nothing. You are going to abandon it and go start digging somewhere. Through this project, government has decided, and the Minerals Commission has blocked out 20, what we call 20 block out areas. This project is going to conduct geological investigation. That will define the mineral nature of those areas and be able to tell you, if you apply for a license, where you should start digging. Because if you know where to start digging, you would post a bond with the EPA. And when you do your work, you will do reclamation because you have confidence that something is there. And that is part of the work we are doing. But more than that is the fact that if you know, if you take a concession, you know to a certain extent what kind of mineral and in what potential quantities are there, you would be able to raise the needed investment right in this country to go and do your mining. Because people will look at what you are holding and they will be interested in investing in you. Let me land on this point.
Yes.
What that does is to prevent you from taking alliances and going to look for a Chinese investor, which is what is happening, that people say the government is giving licenses to foreigners because no foreigner can get access to a small-scale mining license. But when you and I take the licenses, we don't have the resources to invest because we don't have sufficient information in that concession to be able to raise the needed investment in this country. We're going to look for a foreigner. And foreigners, they will just come and start. And then you go to the field and see them there. Then you say, the government has given the concession to foreigners. That is not the case. And that is part of the mechanism that this project
I'm interested in knowing about the targets and the number of beneficiaries that you're targeting and how the program will run in terms of how many people you're issuing licenses to. There's also the issue about the damages that were done in the past and how you're reclaiming these lands, which could have been arable for, agricultural purposes. But let's clear off this issue that's been on the table. The fact that the president has put his presidency on the line to deal with illegal mining. The belief is that the NPP administration has barely 2 years to redeem that pledge. What are you able to say to the people of Ghana on that promise? Do you feel that you have sufficient time to make true to that promise that the president pledged to the people?
I would say yes. And I say yes because of what I know, what is ongoing. And like I told you, there is a lot that is ongoing, but when it is not bleeding, it's not news. And so the president put his presidency on the line, winning the second term by the teeth of it because he nearly lost. And you look at the data and you know that illegal mining made a huge contribution to that. Now, he came back to the second term and said, no, I almost lost, but I'm not going to walk away from this. I'm going to talk to the World Bank for support. I am going to put in new measures and new interventions to deal with this matter. And 2022 was the year that laid the biggest foundation, because we had to do a lot of work. Let me give you an example for reclamation.
Right.
You just made reference to it. You see those duck out around the country. If it was just to do something to please, for political reasons and say that, oh, see what we are doing, by now probably all those pits would have been covered. However, we were given the directive that, number one, they don't want us to go and reclaim land, and tomorrow the same land has been, turned over again.
Yeah.
So we must be able to define that it is a mine out area. That's a technical term. That means that it is barren, it's empty.
And there's no more interest.
There's no more interest. That is not an easy thing to do, but that is the task we have been given to do. So we must make sure that it is defined as mine out. If it is not defined as mine out, we must be able to measure the remaining mineral content and give it out for community mining, with the hope that it will either be mined out completely or they would do reclamation as part of the mining,
In that regard, so how many mines, illegal pits, if we should be referring to them as such, have been closed or reclaimed per the task that you've been given?
Very good question. At the moment, we are working on some 5,000 hectares. But they are not closed yet, because we have to ask and answer all the questions. In this country, we have a complicated land tenure system. So somebody owns that land. We need to know whether you gave that land out for that mining to have happened, or this was taken by force. When we reclaim it, where should it go? Should it come back to you?
Or to the state?
Or to the state. Those kind of questions are not easy to answer.
Right.
But we have been asked to answer them before we start filling, because when we finish filling the pit, we are going to do revegetation. In fact,
that's another component to the project.
That's another component of it. Okay. And that is where anytime you hear about reclamation activity being a form of a job creation, it is actually the revegetation component that brings about the economic
job
activity.
Creation.
Because if you are just going to fill a pit, you don't need so many people. You would need maybe some machines and then few people operating them. But to revegetate and to make decisions on what kind of economic trees or crops that should be on it, and for how long, and what will it be used for, and all of that, that is the part that creates jobs. And so if you are going to do that whole work, finish and revegetate, what you don't want, that in 5 or 10 years' time, you go back there and the whole place has been dug out because. And there is a study, and you can look for it, that says that some people believe that gold gives birth.
Okay, so it will come back again after a few
children.
Yes.
So if you are not careful, in a few years' time, they go back to check whether it has given birth and whether the children have grown. And they would remove every cover on it. And that's what you don't want to do. And so we have been asked to do diligent work to make sure that when we finally put the axe to reclaim the land, and a lot of that work, we call it, social and environmental screening, we have to make sure that, again, we do not do more harm in trying to do good. So if we are going to reclaim, will it affect people's farms? Will it affect people's settlement? Don't forget some of the galamsey activities. In some places in Takwa, you see that they have weeded around the house, and the house is now sitting in the middle. All of these, what are the social and environmental consequences of what you are going to do? And we are doing a lot of work. You see offices here, you see various specialists. People are working, and we want to make sure that government has given us a clear tax that makes sure that we have a long-term sustainable solution. We are not working as a separate unit. This is working with the Minerals Commission, the Environmental Protection Agency, the PMMC, the Lands Commission, the Forestry Commission, you know, the Ghana Geological Survey Authority. All of these agencies were working together.
But you say your target is 5,000 hectares?
Yes, for the next 2 years.
For the next 2 years.
Yes.
Have you started?
I can say yes, because we've started with these environmental and social screening business and all of that.
Which is across the country and not just restricted to one part
No,
of the
it's
country.
across the country.
Right.
And once we conclude all of these, and we're also working with expertise from the World Bank. I mean, the World Bank is not only giving money to this to the government of Ghana, but the agreement includes technical support. So we have the benefit of having international technical experts who are also supporting the project and the process.
Let's talk about one critical element, the traditional rulers, the chiefs. They've been identified as one of the key stakeholders if indeed we would want to effectively tackle this problem of illegal mining. The president himself engaging the National House of Chiefs last year and telling them about how crucial it will be to have these leaders on board.
Yeah.
In this reclamation project that you're, rolling out, how are you involving the chiefs and the traditional authorities so as to at least deal with the problem of the land tenure system, the ownership that you're talking about, and how to identify the areas that are mined out?
Very good question. As I told you, that government is looking at long-term sustainable solutions. And I have to emphasize that this is running parallel to whatever you see in the media with the military approach to fighting galamsey and all of that. That's a complete different system.
Right.
And I emphasize the World Bank is not supporting that military approach, but the bank is supporting this more sustainable intervention, which is parallel to the other one. So it is not just traditional leaders. We are looking at governance at the local level. That's what this project calls it. Governance at the local level. It is not only the traditional leader who's the most important at the local level, it is also the district chief executive, who is the president representative.
At that level.
It is also the district assembly, the players within the district assembly. They are all important at that level.